What's going on, Omnibuddies? Today, we're doing an Omnibuddy overview. And what are we looking at? The big damn Sin City. Alright, so Big Damn Sin City is basically a collection of Frank Miller's Sin City series. It's kind of a whole bunch of short stories, not so short stories, but a whole bunch of stories mixed together to create Sin City. Follows a bunch of the characters, some of them interweave between stories, but mostly they're kind of separated out stories, and it's basically telling the story of Sin City, which is really the central character of this book. This collection, Big Damn Sin City, is absolutely enormous. It is library edition size, so if you have like the library edition of Deadly Class by Image or library editions of Hellboy, it's that scale, but it is thick. It's a big boy. So be prepared if you're going to track that thing down and find it. But what's great is there's box sets, there's individual hardcovers, there's tons of different ways. But right now, Dark Horse is coming out with a really, really nice, high quality presented series for Sin City, and it's slipcased and it's oversized art. It's awesome, and they're thinner, so you don't have to worry about having this super heavy book on your lap, making your legs go numb, or trying to find a reading tray. That's what I ended up doing, is either laying it on the floor and reading it, or having this big reading tray, which somehow my reading stand tray could hold it. But yeah, this thing is big, but the story is even bigger, and it is awesome. So we are going to take a quick look at it. Let's get to it. All right, here is Frank Miller's Big Damn Sin City. Hot damn is this book big. As you can see, it doesn't even fit in the frame, and I'm back as far as I can go. It is giant. Here's the spine, and you're gonna hear me grunting a lot, sorry. And here is the back cover. And yes, it is the biggest, baddest Sin City edition of them all. Some people hate it because it's so big. I love it. I love ridiculously huge books. But yeah, this is MRSP, so it sells for $100 USD. So, and again, it's by Dark Horse. So let's get into it. Boom. Let's see. We will open up with these big red end sheets and get right into a big damn Sin City. And the book has really nice, pretty thick actually for how big it is, and maybe that's partly why it's so big, other than it's a huge story, is decent paper, decent gloss, not super high gloss, but decently glossy. And you can see each story is, about 200 pages. It's got The Hard Goodbye, Dame to Kill For, The Big Fat Kill, Yellow Bastard, Family Values, Booze, Broads, and Bullets, Hell and Back, and then it's also got some about the author at the end. I don't know which one I like best. It's probably going to be... Man, maybe it's A Dame to Kill For. It starts with that one. Might be... Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, Yellow Bastard is the one that just always sits in my mind just because it's so disturbing. But yeah, anyways, we'll get into it. The Hard Goodbye starts with, this art is just giant and so good. It just fits so well. And just fair warning, this is a not safe for work, not good for kids book. And it has the lady bits in it, and it has the naughty words in it too. So, but I love this when they do this like all black, inverted, kind of negative space look, and Frank Miller does that well. And speaking of starting off not safe for work, we get right into it. um, this, oh man, this story is just so dark. The entire series, like, I had to take my time through it, not only because it was so long and so much content. I mean, a lot of it doesn't have a lot of text on there, so you're just kind of appreciating the art, which in this size and scope of book is awesome, that you can just take your time and appreciate this art. So a lot of it goes by pretty quickly, but when I'm dealing with darker content personally, I end up having to take my time to read it. Reading Monster by Brian Windsor Smith. I'm still taking my time through that. I've had to take a long break because it's it's so dark and so hard to read, especially if there's kids involved. Oh man, yeah. So I gotta take my time through books like these. So it can take me quite a while to get through. So I try and, read a section at a time, a few hundred pages, whatever. I'm just skipping through. You can kind of get a taste for the art. 95% of this book. And I'll say, like, it actually, like, I've read this once, I've broken the spine. It actually stays open pretty well, which is pretty dang impressive for how enormous this book is. It is well constructed, and, it does shift. The spine shifts as you can shift around, obviously, with how thick it is, but it is well constructed and doesn't feel flimsy and like it's going to fall apart in your hands or anything like that. So that's definitely a perk. Let's see. I'm not seeing any color in this part. This looks like one of the first color pages in here. Color on the text, color there, and then right back to black and white. So most of the color again is like those cover pages, but there are, I think it's mostly like the Yellow Bastard he's yellow. So there's definitely some red in there. If you've watched the movie, it's very much like that, where you got the red tie or something, very little splash of color here and there. This book kind of makes you lose hope in humanity. There are some characters who try their hardest to be good in the Sin City, and they're just trying to make their way through life and survive. And eventually the city catches up to you, and how do you react, and how do you deal with the city catching up to you and decisions you've made, or just really living there. Twists and turns with who's good, who's bad, or I should say who's good and who's actually bad, on the ladies and the guys and mafia and crime, and are the police good, are the police bad, who is, who isn't, who's crazy. As I look at these characters, I go, oh yeah, that's right, he's a little off his rocker, with dead people talking to him and all that, and it gets kind of graphic and pretty weird at times, but it's awesome. Here, let me see, now that I'm a little bit into it, I'll get a little bit farther and then I can flip it up and show you. It's got a really nice eye hole in there going, let's see, where's the lens on the camera? Over there? Somewhere. But yeah, you can see it's got a really nice eye hole that goes all the way through. Book's not creaking too much or anything. It's super nice. And what's really helpful is, you can see turning it, you kind of can get some oil on your hands. I try and wash my hands because I'm that meticulous while I'm reading. And this book, it picks up all the oil, so I was trying really hard not to do that. That's my one complaint with these gloss and heavy black and white books is if there's no kind of edge to the page like this right here, your thumbprints and fingerprints kind of show up when it's just these pages like these. So I was being super careful going through this book, but it happens, man. This book has really cool story, really cool just character arcs. Thinking about what's his name, who goes to prison, I think he's played by Bruce Willis in the movie. But dang, is this book cool, and how, like, just the style of it is just so good. Oh, here's Yellow Bastard. So here we have some little bit of colorization in there, and some of the key characters and all that stuff. So cool. And I mean, this is quintessential noir going on in this book. Black and white, obviously, high contrast, kind of breaks that noir feel with the color splashes, but overall it sticks to it pretty well. And it gets dark, so be prepared. This is not a book for the kiddies. Really nice ribbon in here, super thick. I like when they actually, this ribbon's not quite finished, but it's not fraying, which is nice. Some of the ribbons you get, they're just kind of chopped and they just start fraying. I've had a few of those, which is super frustrating, but man, there's not really a ton to say about this book without getting into the spoilers. You have crazy mob, you have crazy brothel stuff going on, and gangs and gang shootings, and it is, I mean, really every page that you go to has like a gun, shooting, some kind of violence, someone's injured. Yeah, this, of course, I'd hit this part of the story that sticks with me the absolute most. But dang, it's got really cool style, family values, another great story. All these stories are just so, they're different, but they all just revolve around that city and Sin City and how it gets to you. So I'll get to the very end, show off some of the end stuff, which there's not really a lot at the end of it. Here's some more of that color splash. And then the end, it's got some of the cover art gallery, not a lot, a little bit about the author, and then the end credits. So there's not a ton, what's that? Not a ton of extras, which kind of sucks, but I believe in a lot of the other editions there's some extras in there that you can get. But this one, I mean, if they threw extras in, it would be the ginormous Sin City. So that is a quick look overview of Frank Miller's Big Damn Sin City. All right, so that was a quick overview of Frank Miller's Big Damn Sin City. Like I said, this book is pretty well out of print, but there are some great new collected editions, some slipcase editions coming out, and you can order them right now at our channel sponsor, Organic Price Books. You can use code Omnibuddy for $2 off every order, not just your first order, not just one order. You can reuse it every time and use it to buy the entire series. Pre-order them as they're coming out and do all that. It's a great series, loved it. I watched the movie first and then I watched this, and the movie was great. I love the movie. The story, reading it was way better. Though, I'm a film aficionado, I love making videos and all that, so I can really appreciate the behind the scenes of it, which was so cool. If you haven't seen the movie, make sure to check it out. But this book, this story, I think this is Frank Miller's magnum opus, really. But, someone might debate me on that. But there it is. Make sure to get your pre-orders in, do that, because I think these series, these versions will sell out quick and go out of print pretty quick. And Dark Horse does reprints here and there, but not always, and it can take quite a while between them, so you never know. Anyways, do that, make sure to get them in, and don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, do all those things. But let me know in the comments, talk with me in the comments, make sure to comment, because I love chatting with all y'all. What is your favorite Frank Miller story? Have you read Sin City? What was your favorite section of Sin City? What's your favorite story by Frank Miller? Some people don't like the guy, some people love him. Seems like not much gray area with him. Seems to be a love-hate relationship, which very black and white, which fits this series very well. Anyways, that's it. Make sure to do all those things, but most importantly, make sure to stay cool, stay safe.